Hi, I'm Victoria Aveyard, the author of Red Queen, and today I'm going to talk about something that I am very excited about, which is maps, and particularly the map of the Kingdom of Norta from Red Queen. Something people really latched onto was the setting, and now that the map is coming out, you can definitely see that the setting of the book is the northeastern United States post several apocalyptic events, be they nuclear or natural. It was really cool for me to play around in a space that I'm really familiar with because I'm from the Northeast, but also changing things that I grew up with and sort of turning the Hudson River Valley into something that you wouldn't necessarily recognize. My first forays into storytelling were because of maps. I remember being, I think it was like 7 years old, and my brother had just gotten The Legend of Zelda for N64, and he would never let me play, so I read the guidebook and helped him play through the guidebook, and I became really enamored of the maps. And I'd always really loved historical maps. My dad's a history teacher. So I started drawing maps of my own, and they were these really awful Hyrule knockoffs. And as I expanded out drawing more and more maps, I started writing stories to go with them. I joke that I always tell a story that requires a map, even if it's like a contemporary thing. I'll draw a map of whatever neighborhood the kid's living in, or I'll build their house in The Sims or whatever. The names of the places were really fun for me to come up with. You know, you have cities like Delphi, which is Philadelphia, and Harbor Bay, which is Boston, and then Nairsi, which is actually New York City. And because language changed over the several thousand years between today and the story of Red Queen, I got to think of how the names of cities would change for people who don't necessarily speak English or can only hear it and don't really understand what's being said. So shortening New York City to Nairsi made a lot of sense to me, and it's hidden enough that you can't really figure it out, but once you're told, you're like, oh, of course, duh. In the first book, we pretty much stay in the Capital Valley, which is just the Hudson River Valley, basically, starting in the Stilts, which is Albany, and moving further south to Archeon, which is where the Tappan Zee Bridge is today, and Nairsi, which is, of course, the ruins of New York City. But in book 2, we're going to get to expand out a lot, and we're going to see Boston, which is Harbor Bay. We're going to see the outskirts of the Wash, which is the nuclear radiated wastes of Washington, D.C. We get to go into outer Philadelphia, outer Pennsylvania, up to upstate New York. It's just really fun for me as a map geek to look at the map of the current United States and say, what's still going to be there, what's going to change, what'll be recognizable and what won't be.